here to our hearts, and it's something that everyone deals with, whether you want to or not. Relationships, the big R, right? Relationships with neighbors, spouses, friends, bosses, co-workers, right? Church members, wherever the case may be. Everything in life is built on relationships. So, Michelle, how do you deal with a bad relationship? Maybe somebody that you don't like. But maybe more importantly, how about if it's somebody that doesn't like you? What do you do?
Well, typically when somebody doesn't like me or I don't like someone, I first and foremost try to avoid them. I stay away from them.
Okay.
If they get in my face, then either I get very flustered and upset and angry, and then I walk away. Rarely do I confront them. But when I do, then I usually get all flustered and then say things I probably shouldn't say.
So think about that for a second. We probably all have said things that we don't mean to say or wish we could take back or regret it at some point in time, right?
Well, it becomes a reaction instead of responding.
All right, okay. So, you, the listener, think about when's the last time that you were in a situation, or maybe you're even currently in a situation now with somebody that just gets under your skin, somebody that just bothers you, right? Maybe it's something that, maybe it's the way that they dress. Maybe it's the way that they look. Who knows? But it's something, right, that's causing you to judge them. And I think maybe that's what happens is that the moment that we have somebody that doesn't like us or says something to us, we take offense. So what would you say, Michelle, about how or what have you tried in dealing with an offense from a person that didn't like you? So let's be very specific, though. And have you ever had a boss that didn't like you? And so no matter what you would do to appease them, nothing changed. Can you shed some light on that for our listeners today?
Sure. I had a boss not too long ago at the college, and this boss unfortunately just didn't like me. And so then the feeling was kind of mutual. Since she didn't like me, I guess I didn't like her. And no matter what I did, I tried several things. I'd give her compliments. That didn't work. I would bring her maybe small gifts, maybe get her a cup of coffee. That didn't work. Build her up to other people. That didn't work. And so then I thought, well, maybe I'll share something personal with her. Maybe that will have a connection.
Oh, so think about that. So when's the last time that you made yourself vulnerable to somebody in the hopes maybe that they would be vulnerable back to you, and thus that would break that wall that was around them, bring down that big wall of defense, for them to realize that you're a person. You're not just another number, but you're a person that has feelings, and you want to try to rectify the situation.
Right. So I tried that, and unfortunately, that backfired quite tremendously, and she shared it with other people.
Ooh.
Something I had shared in confidence.
Ooh. So now, I bet for many of us, we've been betrayed at some point in time by somebody that we've shared a secret or something that's been very personal to us, right? And then somebody goes out there and they just blabs it out. And maybe they do it intentionally, maybe it's unintentional, but yet it's still a betrayal. So how did that make you feel?
Well, I felt very betrayed. I felt I think I even was more angry than I was previously. And then I said, well, shoot, then I don't know how I'm going to deal with this person.
So it really wasn't a case that you could transfer and get another boss.
No.
That wasn't an option.
No chance.
And there's no way that you could really avoid this because she's your boss.
Right. And I had to deal with her. I had to work with her. I had to come to some resolve.
Gotcha. Now, granted, there's probably some other natural solutions to this, but then again, maybe like for you, you've tried these things also of what she's saying and have found yourself to be in the same kind of predicament that nothing works. Because sometimes many things I have found that the natural way of doing things, a common sense approach, is not applicable in a lot of situations. And so thus, what is the solution?
Well, it's kingdom sense.
Right. See, kingdom sense is when you're going to take a heavenly strategy and you apply it to an earthly problem. And it's going to get you a divine result. Because we know that the Lord is in control of all things. And we know that upon his word is truth. And it's not our truth. It's not your truth. It must be the Lord's truth. So we're going to get back to this in a little bit as far as what truly is the solution of what kingdom sense would say to you today. Because maybe you're finding yourself in a situation and you're confronted right now with a person, and he can even be your spouse, right? Maybe your spouse is very contentious. You know, it's like I know, you know, in the Bible it talks about over and over and over in Proverbs. It talks about a contentious woman. That's the worst thing is to have a contentious wife. But then again, it can probably still be a contentious husband also, or a husband that hides things or does these other things that you dislike. And so let's think about this for a second for yourself. How many things have you tried and failed with a relationship that you were thrusted in? Like with Michelle here. She can't change bosses. That's not an option. She doesn't want to go and look for another job because she really likes what she's doing. So you have to solve this problem. So, pausing on this for a second, what would kingdom sense say? What do you think is the real solution to your problem? So let's listen here to what Michelle has to say. And lean in, linger, if you will, and grasp kingdom sense. Go ahead, Michelle.
Well, first and foremost, I had to obviously involve the Lord. And I had to, first and foremost, pray for the person, which was very difficult to do.
I bet.
So,
I bet it's extremely difficult. I mean, it's easy to pray for friends, right? For family. But pray for your enemy?
So I started to pray for her, but then what the Lord revealed to me is, what is it in me?
Oh.
What were the triggers in me that caused me to react the way I did? To have this, okay, so she treated me this way, but why do I have just a dislike for her in general?
Gotcha. So you were reacting instead of responding.
Mm-hmm. And I would react every time.
Okay, so tell our listeners a little bit more about how did you pray for your boss?
Well, I prayed for favor, that I would have favor with her. Now, I've prayed for favor in other situations, that I would get favor maybe at the restaurant and get really good service.
Okay.
Or at the grocery store where they would bag my groceries so I wouldn't have to. But in this case, I had to pray for favor with my boss. So she would do things for me that not even realizing she was doing it.
So go ahead and define favor. What does favor mean to you?
Well, to me, favor means that you get godly results in any given situation. You get a better response, a better reaction, a better outcome to the situation than you could even possibly imagine. That you get favor with that person or that situation, or you get a great result from that.
Okay. So, favor, I guess to me, is grace. Grace that is bestowed on yourself and the other person that will cause you to come into unity on something that maybe you didn't agree with or it wasn't brought to light.
Mm.
You know, when I sit here and think about favor, I think that's the one thing that people don't understand that we should be constantly praying for and asking for is favor with God and thus with man. Because if you have favor with God, then more blessings, more provision, more resources, more connections, more of everything comes your way. And it will cause people to do things for you that they would not normally do. And that brings to my mind of a time when I befriended our garbage man. And it wasn't that I wanted anything out of him. Simply, he's a garbage man. He's picking up our garbage every week. I just wanted to get to know him. And in doing so, I had tremendous favor. Because the guy would take things that they normally would not take, or they're going to have to charge us extra, and he never did. And I never understood why until the Lord showed me that that was divine favor. So I know and understand the power of divine favor. So anyway, so go on with your story. So tell us what happened. How did this change the situation?
So I started to pray for her, pray about the situation, turning her over to the Lord, knowing that I could do nothing for the situation. I had tried everything. And so I just kept praying. And lo and behold, one day I get an email that she had nominated me for Faculty of the Year.
Wow. So how soon was it after you prayed for her and prayed for favor with her that the situation started to change?
I would say I saw a change quite quickly. I saw a change in her demeanor and her manner toward me. She wasn't so angry, and it softened me as well. It tended to soften our relationship. And then I would say but I think the Lord gave me grace, like you said, to be more tolerant of her. And then the situation started to change and turn around. And then when I received that, I was truly blown away. That was never something I could have done. I could
Right,
not have made
right,
that happen.
right,
But the Lord can do anything.
right. So I think what's very important for us to realize here is that maybe sometimes when we're having problems with people, or people are having problems with us, that we need to look at ourselves first. We need to go to the Lord first and say, okay, Lord, so what is it in me that is causing a trigger to react to this person the way that I'm reacting, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because oftentimes maybe it's that person represents or reminds us of somebody else, right?
Mm-hmm.
Reminds us of an old friend who hurt us, or reminds us of somebody that they had a confrontation with. Well, you're not them, they're not you. And that person, you can't transfer over. We should never transfer over these feelings, okay, these emotions onto another person. For every person has their own story. See, and it's quite evident that the boss, your boss, doesn't know your story. But guess what? You don't know his or her story either.
No.
Right? But guess who does? The Lord. The Lord knows everybody's story. Right? So he knows exactly what to do to, like you said, kind of soften the hearts of those that are opposed. See, this is what kingdom sense is about. It's about involving the Lord through his strategy to solve an earthly problem, whatever the problem may be. For the Lord is the great problem solver, right? There's nothing that the Lord doesn't know ahead of time. And since he's created the world and he's created us, truly, he has the power to solve anything. So it doesn't matter what your situation is. But I got to ask you this. What was your reluctancy to not go and do this first and apply kingdom sense? Why'd you do all these other things, do you think?
I think it's pride. I think it's pride. It's anger. It's you get so caught up in the moment. You get so caught up in the situation, and you get worn down sometimes. So I think and I'm not trying to say my last defense is prayer, but no, but in this case, it almost was. It was like, well, I've tried all these other things, and why I didn't apply kingdom sense first and foremost, well, maybe because I didn't know at that point. I'm not sure.
So that's the question that we pose to you. Would you rather have and use common earthly sense that would lead you to maybe not getting it solved, or are you seeking a real solution for your problem, your situation, whatever it might be? But especially dealing with relationships with other people, because we deal in relationships whether we want to or not. And we will always have those that don't like us. But then again, we're always going to be finding people that we don't like either. So how do you navigate through that? How do you navigate through life's situations? It starts by applying kingdom sense. Rise above the problem. So you're looking down on it. You're not looking eye level or beneath it. Because sometimes our problems, we tend to have them rise above and we're looking up. If you're going to look up, look to Jesus. But I think it all involves, like you have said, taking people, situations, circumstances, bringing this before the Lord. So that way he can also tell you what you need to do so you're straight with him before he gives you the solution, the kingdom sense of things, the heavenly strategy. So with that in mind today, that's it for today. We thank you. We hope that this has been a tremendous help for you. And so think about this. Remember this. Next time you find yourself in a situation, bring that person before the Lord. Bring that situation to the Lord first and ask for his help. Ask for his solution. Ask for his strategy.
And pray for favor.
But every day, pray for favor. Ask for God's favor to be bestowed to you every day. So you are signed and sealed in favor, and you walk in favor wherever you go. So be blessed, and we'll be back soon with another teaching.